Hello exiles and welcome to a new video. This is an update to my last video, to my spiral volley build, so if you have not seen that one, go check that one. I've got some information there for you, but the link will be in the description. And yeah, sorry it took me so long, but I was dealing with some problems with my SSD disk, which my system is on, so yeah, that was a bit of a problem, but figured it out. Turns out it was the SSD cable, because it's one of those old SSDs I've got, and yeah, it was just the cable was bad basically. So I had to change the cable and it's fine, I'm playing now. So let's start off with taking a map, tier 15, plus 50 resists, yeah, okay. So you've got something to showcase at least, and I think this was Savannah, yeah. I was recording this already once, but I was recording it on step map, and step map is just horrible for me in terms of frames. It was lagging all the time, so I couldn't basically put that showcase into the video. So we're doing it on Savannah, and hopefully we're gonna get better frames than that. And since I haven't played for a few days, I'm lagging a bit in terms of FPS, so hopefully it will be better. Yeah, but as you can see, I made some changes. If you're wondering, I'm currently level 88. And yeah, the build feels pretty good, and it's nowhere near the cap where it can go, basically. So I'm feeling pretty good about this build. I've got a pretty good feeling that it has room to improve. Oh, let's take that. It has really lots of room to improve and can feel even much better than this, and already this feels really good to clear with. I'm now freezing everything. It was a bit of a pain in the ass to get enough cold damage and get enough freeze build up to reliably freeze everything, but I'm at this point now, finally. Although I'm not sure on how it will be on maps where the monsters have more maximum life, because ailment thresholds are based on maximum life, right? And on maps where the monsters have the modifier itself that they have increased ailment threshold. So probably not freezing on those maps as much, but that's fine, right? More damage I get, the more I can really improve it. Let's take off the freezing shrine so you can see how it looks. Clearly how it looks without the cold damage from the shrine. But yeah, the build feels really good, and I initially thought I'm gonna be making just a pure mapping magic finder, but it turns out this build can actually dish out some single target damage if you do the whatever rotation correctly, right? Monster XP, let's take that. So yeah, and expeditions are quite fun with this build. As you can see, expedition cleared in 2 spiral volleys. The more damage you get, the higher chance you clear it with just 1 spiral volley. But yeah, let's leave the loot on the ground for now. And yeah, I want to do some big farming on this build. Some big farming. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to play this new patch a lot, so I'm gonna do that just today, I think, on stream. And so far so good. The build feels great, as I said. And I'm gonna go to the boss. I think it's gonna be somewhere here. Yes, so you can see the single target, and hopefully I don't fuck it up. I'm a little bit rusty from the days I've not been playing. So sorry for that, but it is what it is. So ideally you freeze the boss first with something, so you've got really room to charge up your snipe, and I fucked it up. And that's the worst part of the build. If you fuck it up, you have to do your whole rotation again, right? I'm actually quite tanky. Yeah, now you can see I've did the rotation correctly, and I fucked it up. Yeah, so this is good for the showcase, actually. You can clearly see when you're dealing damage and what to expect from the build. And as you can see, it's quite tanky, I must say. I don't even know how I survived that hit, because that's a big hit, his slam. And I'm getting stunned from those annoying hyenas. Yeah, if you just do the rotation correctly, then you're completely fine on damage. But as you could have seen, I fucked it up so many times. Yeah, if you play... What is this loot? There's nothing on the map. Oh my god, look at that. The loot changes. Oh, and I was waiting for the loot changes because I really wanted to farm some bosses. But yeah, I'll collect the loot later. I'll check it all. Let's now get to the changes themselves. First of all, I bought a different Widow Ale to get a 350 quiver effect. When you count all the effects from the skill tree and from the bow itself together. Because once I get 350, I'm gonna get +1 more levels. So currently my Widow Ale, since I have 350 quiver effect, it's giving me +9 levels instead of +8 levels. And that's great. But the thing you need to keep in mind, the mana cost. Because currently it's on level 28 and the mana cost is 461, and I have reduced mana cost on the skill tree. If I'm not on low mana, I've got 15% reduced mana cost, so this is the real cost with my links. 520 something, right? So you have to keep in mind that the mana cost gets quite high. Yeah, but the rest on the quiver, I put in 2 soul cores for increased elemental damage, and this is just a clearing setup, and the quiver is still the same. And actually, the gain 25% mana per enemy killed, really, really, really nice, I must say. Just because... sorry. Just because... basically, one enemy gives me, with all my effect, what, like, around 100 mana? Let's say around 100 mana each single enemy that I kill. So I need to kill 4 or 5 enemies with my spiral volley to completely refill my mana. And I don't have to worry about pressing mana flask so much, right? So getting this is really good. But if you cannot get mana on each enemy per each enemy killed, just get these 2 nodes and they're 2% maximum mana on kill. It's gonna be a bit less, because this doesn't get scaled by your Widow Ale, right? But it is what it is. Just get what you can. The rest of the quiver, it's basically still the same quiver I've got in my last video. Then let's go with the helmet. I bought as much energy shield helmet as I basically could, with rarity and some resists. Got this one for, I don't know, 2 divine, something like that. 400 energy shield helmet, rarity, cold resist. That's basically it. That's the helmet. Body armor, I had a different one. I had a really good body armor, but unfortunately I had to buy a different one because I forgot that I need +50 spirit, and I already bought an amulet. And this amulet is so good that I don't think I'll be changing it. This is just, I would say, maybe even perfect amulet for this build. Maybe even the evasion is the best thing you can get, or I don't, yeah, basically really good amulet for this build that I really wanted. So I bought it, and I realized that I need +50 spirit, and that was a problem, and I didn't want to replace this amulet because this is so good that I had to buy a different body armor. So I bought this one. It's a worse body armor than the previous one I had. It has 100 less energy shield. It doesn't have any resist. The previous one had resists or attributes, I don't remember. But yeah, this is the best thing I could come up with. So +50 spirit and as much evasion and energy shield as I could get on this base with increased movement speed. And to be honest, I might even I'm considering dropping it for Moria Invictus, because I would lose 5% movement speed, and I'm having 61 movement speed already. So dropping 5, yeah, it sucks, but it wouldn't be as bad. and I could get Moria Invictus. I think on Moria Invictus I could get a, with a good roll, I could get a pretty similar stats in terms of evasion and energy shield. And I could also get easily the spirit, the increased global defenses, and maybe attributes, resists, I don't know. It rolls 3 stats, right? So up to me to decide, but yeah, I'm considering dropping it for Moria Invictus. Then, yeah, let's just talk about the amulet a bit. It's got increased evasion, it's got increased energy shield and massive roll at that, so I slapped defense catalysts on it. It's got rarity, lots of it, and it's got lots of crit damage bonus for my snipe, and it's got lots of fire resist, and that's basically what I wanted from my amulet, and it gets scaled up by 25% thanks to my Ascendancy right here. So all of these stats are 25% stronger. And yeah, the anointment is feathered fletching for the increases and reductions to projectile speed, also applied to bows, like damage with bows. So the increased projectile speed I've got on my quiver actually translates to not just the projectile speed, but also increased damage. And that's great. So, the rings. I bought 2 breach rings. And basically the thing I wanted on them, as much rarity as I could, and as much cold and lightning damage as I could. This one also has elemental resists and chaos res. And that's pretty much it. Slap attack modifier catalysts on it, although they are quite expensive, so keep that in mind. But it's gonna scale up the cold and lightning damage, and the same story goes with this one. This one doesn't have rarity, unfortunately, but the evasion is really good also. And this one has lightning modifiers because I actually needed some resists for my character, my lightning resists. So this one has that. And the last ring, unfortunately, doesn't have cold damage, and all of this gear I'm planning on changing eventually because yeah, it's just the first row of gear I bought for this character, right? If we don't count the leveling gear which I had in my last video. So this is the first row of gear I bought for my character, and it's gonna change eventually. But yeah, the same story again, as much flat damage, rarity, and this one has lots of resists. And it is actually nice, I think, to get a unset ring, because with one unset ring you have seen me use the freezing salvo, and without the unset ring I wouldn't be able to use the freezing salvo because I've got my skill slots kept, and that's what I wanted to talk about a bit. I would actually love in PoE2 to have more skill slots. Like, for every character give, like, I would say at least 2 more skill slots. At least 2 more, it would be great. But maybe unset rings would lose a bit of like the reason why I want to get them, but most builds don't care about onset rings at all, right? But on this one I think it's quite nice to use it because you get access to freezing salvo, and as you could have seen, the freezing salvo, even if I don't do that much damage with it, it's gonna freeze the enemies really quick, so the freeze build-up on it is really good, and that's only thanks to my onset ring. Yeah, next, the gloves. Flat damage, flat cold, flat lightning, as much energy shield, rarity, and other stats, resists and stuff like that, right? And I decided that I probably want on my boots and my gloves pure energy shield bases, because I've already got, that is with my wind dancer, right, with my stacks, but I've already got 12.5k evasion, and that's quite a lot, I would say. If you also count in blind, which are blinding enemies thanks to the skill tree, it is quite a lot of evasion, I would say, and I don't feel threatened. Even you've seen me take some hits even on the bosses just thanks to my energy shield. So I think I'm just gonna get more energy shield on my gloves and boots, right? Although I'm not sure if it's the best. Yeah, so that's the gloves. The belt, the same as in last video, and I think at least the same, and it's there for increased effect of my rings, and unfortunately this one extra doesn't get scaled, but that doesn't count as another left ring slot, but these 2 get scaled, and that's good enough for me. I might even consider getting a headhunter into this build, since I want to purely map with this and slap ingenuity just for bosses, but I'm not sure. And about the whole rarity situation, I tried to stack lots of rarity on my gear, as you could have seen, and I don't even know if it's that worth it now, because they've changed rarity. So I've got, what, 164 rarity, and they nerfed the rarity stat, or the rarity on the player, right? And I don't know how much they nerfed it, that needs testing, I guess, but for now I'm keeping the rarity. Maybe later I'm gonna switch to more damage-oriented gear, but for now it is what it is. And the boots, just, I would say, pretty simple boots with 35 movement speed and some resists, that's it. And I think I actually wanted mana. Yeah, I've got 111 mana here, and without the 111 mana I wouldn't be able to cast my Spiral Volley, so ideally I think I would get mana on one of my rings, or maybe gloves, but probably on one of my rings. Instead of the evasion here, I would probably get mana and make up for the evasion somewhere else. But yeah, at least a bit of mana, that's what you need, because I'm taking the 30% reduced mana route in the Ritualist Ascendancy, and the reduced spirit is just no-go, right? And minus 20 resists, I don't know, that's also no-go for me, especially maybe later if I get a really good gear, I'm gonna switch the reduced mana to the reduced resists, but I don't see that happening at all, so yeah, but maybe, just maybe later. Yeah, but that's the gear, and this is the single target setup, which I'm switching when I'm charging my Snipe. So this is the old Widow Ale that I was using for my clear setup, and I need to replace this one. Just don't look at it, it's horrible, there's nothing important about it, but yeah, that's just, I've been lazy to just replace it. So another Widow Ale, and another just quiver with lots of flat damage, increased projectile speed, and this one actually has increased crit damage bonus for attack damage, and that's great, and also level of projectile skills. And I bought this base specifically because it has increased arrow speed, so I thought the feathered fletching anointment would work, but I'm not sure. Don't take it as granted, but I think that arrow speed for some reason doesn't work, so it has to be specifically the increased projectile speed stat and not arrow speed. So the arrow speed here, it does get scaled by your Widow Ale, that's for sure, but I don't think it actually translates into increased damage with feathered fletching. Only the projectile speed does. I'm not sure about it, but that's how I feel, right? So yeah, don't burn me in the comments that I'm lying. I said that I'm not sure, but I think that's how it works, unfortunately. Yeah, but that's it. And for the skills, let's just quickly run over them. Ritual Sacrifice, that's my Ascendancy thingy. That's the mini fun vision headhunter, right? Linked with Persistence, Unbreakable, and Wind Wave. I should start with my Bowshot, right? Sorry. I'm actually using Bowshot on my clear setup just because sometimes one rare survives, right? You've seen it in the gameplay showcase. One rare survives, and after casting a Spiral Volley, I don't have enough mana maybe, so I'm just using Bowshot to finish off the rare, and it's linked with Deliberation, sorry about the pronunciation, yeah, but this support, Killing Strike, Execute, and Martial Tempo, and it has lots of base damage, and it also gets scaled by your quiver projectile levels, so it actually does quite a lot of damage and finishes off the rares quite nicely. And then the main star of the show here, Spiral Volley, and yeah, linked with Vault, Perpetual Charge, Ricochet, Ice Bite, and Primal Armament. So I just walk a bit, then cast my Spiral Volley, and then walk a bit, so I charge up my Vault again, Spiral Volley, and that's basically the gameplay. Snipe. Interesting skill. Really interesting skill. It's linked with window of opportunity, close combat, overextend for more crit damage bonus, conk effect, and super critical. And the thing why I'm using close combat, and I don't think I've said it in the last video, why I'm using close combat, because once I get more projectiles into the snipe with barrage, I'm shooting more projectiles, right? But if you stand too far from the enemy, the projectiles sometimes can actually miss the enemy if the enemy hitbox is small enough. So the additional projectiles I get from barrage don't hit sometimes. But if you have close combat, if you're close to the enemy, you should almost always hit all of your projectiles. It still can happen to me sometimes, but it almost never happens. You almost always hit all your projectiles, so you kind of want to be in the melee range to maximize your damage from barrage anyways, so that's why I'm using close combat. And also, you've seen me first try to freeze the enemy and then do really big barrage, sniper's mark, and snipe. And bam, just... Ideally, I would one-shot the boss, right? I'm not quite there yet. Yeah, so that's snipe. And if you're wondering, currently, with my pretty unoptimized stuff, 1018 crit damage bonus. And still, I don't even have my crit damage soul course, right? That's just crazy how much crit damage this skill can get if you're doing the scaling correctly. Yeah, but then it's barrage with premeditation, twofold, ingenuity, and murderous intent for the killing strike. Then the freezing salvo I was talking about, freezing salvo with alignment, and that's the little dot you see, and basically if you shoot to the direction of the arrow of the dot, you shoot your freezing salvo, it changes to a different direction, but if you shoot into the correct direction, it's doing 30% more damage. So with a skill like this, where you shoot every just now and then the freezing salvo, it actually has quite a good use, I would say. Then with cold infusion, because I'm trying to do as much cold damage as I can with this skill. And then glaciation for more freeze buildup, and deep freeze for the freeze duration. So if I freeze with this skill, the freeze duration is gonna be increased by 50%. So ideally I would finish off the freeze with my freezing salvo, so I get a longer window for doing my snipes without any danger. Then sniper's mark with mobility, arcane tempo, and life tap. And ideally before every barrage and ideally before every snipe, you do sniper's mark and then charge up the snipe. Then you've got a cooldown again back and do the snipe again, sniper's mark, snipe basically. And if you have a cooldown, then you do sniper's mark, barrage, snipe. Then again sniper's mark, snipe, and just basically do that until the boss is dead. And once you play more and more, you're gonna get the hang of snipe, and one where it basically needs to be released. So yeah, the more you play the build, the better you're gonna be with the build. Yeah, but ghost dance, and I need to get a better levels on all of my auras. So ghost dance with fast forward, combat frenzy with perfusion, wind dancer with blind, maim, and energy barrier. Herald device linked with innervate, reach, sorry, magnified effect, and cold penetration. Herald of thunder with long shot, lightning penetration, elemental focus, and mana bounty. And yeah, that's basically the skills. Let's now quickly jump into the skill tree itself. And as I said, I did two of these, basically mainly for the movement speed, but the ritual sacrifice is a nice little thing. You can play it, it's a bonus every now and then. And the unfortunate part of the ritual sacrifice for this build is that I'm freezing almost all of my enemies, right? And frozen enemies get shattered. And shattered enemies don't leave corpses, you can sacrifice, you can eat or whatever. So this usually doesn't have any effect because you shatter the corpse and there's no corpse left for you to consume or to do your thing. So bit of an unfortunate part, but still it gives you 6 more movement speed, so that's good. And with this node you can use it on yourself. You can use it even in hideout, that's the animation, but in hideout it's not gonna remove your HP or not gonna give you any buffs because you're in hideout, right? But yeah, that's it. You can use it on bosses and it's a little extra fun, right? It's a little extra fun. And yeah, what changed on the skill tree? Basically, the POB is gonna be in the description again, as always. And yeah, these nodes, all the movement speed nodes you can get. And mainly what changed is I bought the interesting thing, is the from nothing with this Heartstopper radius. Sorry, I forgot the name of this keystone. Yeah, but it gives you access to all the points in this radius without actually having to travel to them. So I get access to the mental toughness, which I need for my spiral volley, because without it I don't have enough mana to cast my spiral volley. So I'm getting mental toughness. I'm getting storm swell, which is a really good one. And I'm also getting first approach, which also is really good one. Not just for the clearing aspect, because that's the main reason why I got this, because I wanted it for clearing aspect, because sometimes I was dealing with an issue where I was not freezing enough, basically. I was not freezing enough to instantly freeze the enemies and shatter them with my Herald of Ice, right? So now I've got enough damage to actually do enough freeze, and that means to proc my Herald of Ice explosions. So against the 80% increased damage against full life enemies is just wonderful. And also the cannot be blinded on full life is okay, I guess. You're almost always on full life because your energy shield almost never goes down. And yeah, I don't know how much big of an issue is blind actually in this game, but yes, some of those smoke clouds are annoying. So that's the really interesting thing I've got from nothing with Heartstopper. Got it for 6 divines, and these 3 nodes are just money. And yeah, the rest, I guess, just rest of the jewels. Where is it? Where's my jewel? Yeah, this is the other one. I've got just increased damage, increased attack speed jewels. With this one has projectile speed, that translates to increased damage, right? So these jewels, they're worth a bit of DPS. And basically the same one right here. I've actually got this one with quite a lot of accuracy because I needed a bit more accuracy, and I think I still need a bit more accuracy. Where is it? The accuracy, yeah, 95% it's at 5 meters, that's fine, but 77 at 9 meters is a bit annoying. But guess what? I've got Heartstopper, and there's this note, 30% reduced penalty to accuracy rating at range. So that's a good one, right? And yeah, that's pretty much the skill tree. Got the weapon sets, they are quite important, and on the weapon set 1, I'm trying to do the clear stuff, so generate increased damage or stuff while I'm clearing. So basically the freeze build up for the spiral volley, right? What else do I have here? These nodes right here, and there's something else. As I said, you can see it in the path of building. And yeah, for the single target for the weapon set 2, it's getting shit ton of crit multi. That's it. Basically all the crit multi you can get, all the crit multi you can get, and all the crit multi you can get right here. So just type in crit multi and take all the crit multi stuff on the skill tree with weapon set 2. Yeah, these notes I'm taking, this Herald stuff. And yeah, the last thing I forgot to say, that for single target, like if you're fighting pinnacle bosses or something, you can actually take your Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder out because they don't have an effect when you're one-on-one fight. So you can just slap in what is it called, the I always forget the name. Not premeditate. Attrition. Yeah, attrition for just more damage if it's a longer boss fight. Or for something with the... What's it called? The energy shield aura that begins... Energy shield. Barrier invocation? No. It's... Convalescence? While active grants a skill... Yeah, this one. While active grants a skill that you can use to instantly begin recharging energy shield. So that could be a lifesaver on bosses, even in some scenarios. But you're still gonna be left with what, 30 spirit to use, so you'll have to figure that out for yourself. And yeah, that's pretty much the changes. Maybe I forgot about these, but yeah, guard, charms, that's it. Mana flask. Yeah, but that's the build for now. Of course I'll do more updates, and I'm gonna be streaming today evening for finally do some proper farming on this build, hopefully, because I'm currently setting it up. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. And yeah, by the way, the change they made with corruptions, they're everywhere right now. All of a sudden. That's quite funny. Yeah, but yeah, let's just screw it. I cannot find it right now. I'm gonna do a farm. I just cleared some corruption, and I'm gonna do quite a big farm for rarity, and I'm not yet decided if I'm gonna be farming bosses or rares. I'm not sure. Guess I'm gonna get surprised. I'm gonna surprise even myself, so I don't know yet. But for now, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, Exiles. I hope you like the build. Tell me in the comments. The reason why I was making this build, because I wanted to make something that clears really well but isn't Lightning Spear. And it turns out Spiral Volley is really good. I mean, really good. But yeah, that's it from me for now. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one, Exiles. Bye-bye.